Last Resort. Unleash the Humans. Part 1. The Council's Desperation. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Federation erupted in chaos. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the amphitheater, their panic creating a cacophony that overwhelmed the universal translators. Ambassador Zicthala slammed her crystalline appendage against the podium. "Order!" she screeched, bioluminescent patches flashing angry red. "We're here to discuss the Void Swarm crisis." Holographic displays showed the grim reality, entire star systems consumed by relentless entities that devoured matter, energy, and space-time itself. Admiral Kethvar of the Draconian Empire stood, his scarred hide testament to countless battles. "We've thrown everything at them," he growled. 12 million vessels, our entire combined fleet, reduced to cosmic dust in hours. Our most advanced weapons, psychic warriors, reality-bending technologies, nothing even slows them down. The Draconians were the Federation's military backbone. If they spoke of defeat, hope was truly lost. "There must be something," wheezed Elder Mordoon, his crystalline form crackling with desperation. "Some weapon, some ally." Silence fell. They had exhausted every option, yet the Void Swarm continued its advance toward the galactic core, where trillions awaited death. Then a small voice spoke from the chamber's back. "What about the humans?" Every sensor turned toward Junior Liaison Pipsqueak of the Rodentian Federation, a species so insignificant they were often overlooked. "The humans?" Ambassador Zicthala's patches flickered confusion. "Those primitive bipeds from the Outer Rim?" "They're not primitive," Pipsqueak interrupted. "They're quarantined. Federation Mandate 847 Alpha." Recognition rippled through the assembly. The forgotten world on the galaxy's edge, inhabited by bizarre creatures deemed too dangerous for contact. "The Death Worlders," Admiral Kethvar remembered. "There was a reason they were never invited to join." "Because they're insane," Elder Mordoon completed. "Completely, utterly, magnificently insane." Ambassador Zicthala accessed restricted files, her patches cycling through colors. They weaponized their own star's fusion reaction, nuclear weapons, and pointed them at themselves. They've done this throughout their history. Wars spanning their globe, conflicts lasting decades, weapons designed for maximum suffering. And yet, Pipsqueak added quietly, they've never been conquered. Every time they face extinction, they adapt, overcome, win. The chamber erupted in protests, but Ambassador Zicthala raised her appendage for silence. She studied the tactical displays showing the swarm's advance. "The Federation has a policy for existential threats," she said slowly. "All restrictions may be temporarily lifted." Her patches cycled through somber blues. "I invoke Emergency Protocol Omega." Deadly silence fell. "May the cosmic forces preserve us," she whispered. "Prepare a message for Earth. Tell them the galaxy needs them." The Federation vessel Harmony's Edge dropped from hyperspace at Sol System's edge. Ambassador Zicthala nervously adjusted her translator while Admiral Kethvar kept his hand near his weapon. "Sensors detect multiple structures throughout the system," the ship's AI reported. "Orbital platforms, space stations, and what are those massive constructs?" The screen showed metal fortresses bristling with weapons, positioned at strategic points throughout the solar system. "Defensive installations," Admiral Kethvar growled approvingly. "These humans have militarized their entire star system." "Beginning standard first contact protocols," the communications officer started. A harsh voice cut through their systems. "Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You have 30 seconds to identify yourself or we consider you hostile. You're currently painted by 17 weapon systems, and we really don't like uninvited guests." The bridge fell silent. Ambassador Zicthala's patches flickered through confusion and fear. "Did they just threaten us?" she whispered. Without determining if we're hostile first, Admiral Kethvar noted with growing respect. They've traced our quantum-encrypted signals, the communications officer reported in panic. They know our exact location. I'm reading energy signatures I don't recognize. Exotic matter manipulation? 15 seconds, the human voice added with deadly edge. Ambassador Zichthala quickly transmitted. This is Ambassador Zichthala of the Galactic Federation. We seek audience regarding galactic security. A pause. Galactic Federation? Never heard of you. Stand by. Multiple human vessels approached at impossible velocities. How are they moving so fast? The navigator asked. They're riding gravitational waves, Admiral Kethvar observed, creating localized space-time distortions. How is this possible? A new transmission arrived. Federation ship. This is Captain Rodriguez aboard Indomitable. We're escorting you to Luna Station. Fair warning, any aggressive moves and we'll turn you into atoms. Clear? Crystal clear, Ambassador Zichthala replied, her patches cycling through respect and terror. As they approached Earth's moon, the delegation witnessed human space infrastructure unlike anything in galactic databases. Those weapon platforms are mobile, Admiral Kethvar breathed. They've weaponized gravity itself. No organic integration, no psychic enhancement, the science officer added. Just raw engineering. So brutal. Luna Station resembled a fortress more than diplomatic facility. Weapon emplacements tracked their every movement. Admiral Chen met them, a compact human female with predator's eyes, flanked by soldiers in armor that registered as technologically impossible. "Welcome to Sol System," she said without preamble. "What's this about galactic security, and why should we care about a federation we've never heard of?" Ambassador Zichthala took a deep breath. "Admiral Chen, how would you feel about fighting something that makes your species look peaceful by comparison?" Admiral Chen smiled. It wasn't comforting. "Now you've got my attention." The conference room aboard Luna Station showcased stark contrasts. Federation delegates sat with elegant biotech integration while humans used equipment built to survive apocalypse. Admiral Chen activated a holographic display with suspicious sophistication. "Let me understand this. You represent thousands of species across the galaxy, existed for millions of years, but never contacted us because we're too primitive and violent? The quarantine was for your protection," Ambassador Zichthala began. "Bullshit," Colonel Harrison interrupted flatly. "You were scared of us." Admiral Kethvar's scales rippled with amusement. "The human is correct. Your species was classified Class X Death World civilization. No contact until you destroyed yourselves or achieved interstellar unity. And now?" Admiral Chen asked. "Now, we face extinction," Ambassador Zichthala said simply. "You're our last hope." She displayed galaxy-wide devastation caused by the Void Swarm. Humans watched silently as system after system went dark. They consume everything: matter, energy, space-time itself. Our most advanced weapons barely register. Psychic warriors go insane from contact. Reality manipulation technology simply fails. Dr. Reyes leaned forward. "Show us combat footage." The hologram revealed Federation dreadnoughts, each larger than human cities, dissolving like sugar in acid. Planet-cracking weapons passed harmlessly through swarm entities. 12 million ships gone in hours, Admiral Chen said quietly. "The largest military force in galactic history," Admiral Kethvar confirmed. Colonel Harrison studied tactical data professionally. Movement patterns too organized for animals, too chaotic for machines. "What are we fighting?" "Unknown," Ambassador Zichthala admitted. "They appeared 18 months ago. No communication, no demands, just consumption. Current projections show them reaching galactic core in 6 months. Galactic civilization ends." Admiral Chen walked to the observation window, studying Earth hanging in space. So you want us to fight entities that destroyed your combined fleet in hours? You are our last resort. Your species has unique characteristics, such as, Colonel Harrison asked. You weaponize everything, Admiral Kethvar answered. Your evolutionary history is pure conflict and survival against impossible odds. You've weaponized your planet. Fusion, fission, gravity, even quantum vacuum. You've never lost a war against extinction, Ambassador Zakthala added. Asteroid impacts, ice ages, supervolcanoes, you survive and return stronger. Admiral Chen faced the delegation. And this qualifies us to fight space demons? It makes you the only species crazy enough to try. Chen exchanged glances with her officers. We'd need full tactical data, complete Federation technology access, and command authority. Done, Ambassador Zakthala said immediately. One question, Admiral Chen continued. Why should we help? You've ignored us for centuries, treated us like dangerous animals. Give me one reason to risk human lives for a galaxy that never wanted us. Ambassador Zakthala's patches cycled deep purple, profound sincerity among her people. Because if these entities reach Earth, they won't just kill your species, they'll unmake you. Every human achievement, every moment of love, erased as if it never existed. They don't just destroy the future, they consume the past. Admiral Chen smiled that predatory smile. Well then, we'd better stop them. The Joint Command Center on Luna Station was controlled chaos. Federation officers with elegant biotech worked alongside humans whose equipment looked weaponized. Cultural clash was immediate. This is impossible, declared Science Officer Veltara, her crystalline form refracting frustrated light. Humans want atomic composition of void swarm entities. We've explained 17 times. These beings exist partially outside space-time. Dr. Reyes looked up from holographic displays showing impossible equations. And I've told you 17 times, everything interacting with our reality follows basic physical laws. If they eat planets, they have mass. If they have mass, they have atomic structure. But they phase in and out. Then we figure out the phase differential and compensate. Dr. Reyes turned to her assistant. Tommy, run another simulation with variable dimensional constants. Lieutenant Park grinned. Yes, ma'am. Want me to try Professor Hawking's parallel universe energy extraction model? Why not? If we're fighting interdimensional parasites, think interdimensionally. Ambassador Zakthala watched with growing bewilderment. Humans had studied void swarm data for 47 hours and were proposing frameworks Federation scientists hadn't considered in 18 months. Admiral Chen, she approached the human commander. I don't understand your methodology. They treat this like a simple engineering problem. Admiral Chen glanced up from tactical displays where humans redesigned Federation fleet formations. To us, it is. We see something we don't like, we figure out how to break it. But the complexity gets handled by breaking it into smaller problems. Chen pointed to walls covered with primitive paper notes. That's Lieutenant Cooper's team solving how do we hurt multidimensional beings. Captain Martinez figures out how do we predict phasing entities. And, Admiral, Colonel Harrison's voice cut across the center. We've got something. The room quieted as Harrison activated the main display, a 3D model of a void swarm entity annotated with human observations and theoretical weak points. Dr. Reyes's team figured out why Federation weapons don't work, Harrison announced. Void swarm entities exist in quantum superposition, simultaneously in multiple dimensions. When you fire weapons, you only hit one-dimensional aspect. Admiral Kethvar leaned forward. This is known. We attempted multidimensional arrays. But you attacked all dimensions simultaneously, Dr. Reyes interrupted. That's like shooting all air in a room to kill one man. You need precision, not power. She highlighted specific areas. Quantum resonance points where all dimensional aspects converge. Hit these with the right frequency, cause cascade failure across all dimensional states. Theoretically, Veltara said skeptically. Everything's theoretical until tested, Lieutenant Park chimed. The prototype's ready. Admiral Chen raised an eyebrow. Already? 3 prototypes, actually, Colonel Harrison said proudly. Combining human "let's see what happens" with Federation "we build impossible things" gets results fast. The screen showed the testing range where a device resembling the offspring of a Federation gravitic cannon and human railgun awaited testing. Quantum Cascade Disruptor, Dr. Reyes explained, fires precisely tuned exotic matter causing quantum resonance cascade in multidimensional entities. Built in under 2 days? Ambassador Zicthala stared. Sleep is for the weak, Park said cheerfully. Chief Wong's team hasn't slept in 3 days. Pure caffeine and spite. The test target, captured void swarm entity in multidimensional containment, simply ceased existing when fired upon. The command center erupted in cheers, but Admiral Chen remained grim. 1 down, about 1 trillion to go. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter had become the largest military-industrial complex in human history. Rocky debris transformed into sprawling networks of factories, shipyards, and weapon forges operating continuously. Even Admiral Kethvar's warrior heart skipped beats. "By the eternal stars," he breathed, watching tactical displays. "How many ships are you building?" Admiral Chen stood beside him on Olympus Command Station, constructed from asteroid series. "Every one we can. Current production, 1,200 vessels daily, increasing as more fabrication centers come online." 1,200 per day? Ambassador Zicthala's patches flickered disbelief. The entire Federation builds perhaps 50 monthly. "Different philosophies," Colonel Harrison explained. "You build ships to last millennia. We build them to win this war." Human vessels defied galactic databases. Where Federation ships showed graceful biometal curves, human warships resembled flying weapon platforms, angular, brutal, covered in weapon emplacements serving no aesthetic purpose. "Your ships are so aggressive-looking," Science Officer Veltaro observed. "Form follows function," Dr. Reyes replied, reviewing production reports on neural interfaced tablets, another impossible human innovation. "Every surface not a weapon mount is armor. Every system has 3 backups. Every ship designed to keep fighting after catastrophic damage." Admiral Kethvar studied scrolling specifications. "These armor ratings are impossible. How do you achieve this protection?" "Trade secret," Lieutenant Park grinned. "We've gotten really good at making things that don't break when hit by other things." Truth was more impressive. Humans had combined Federation material science with military philosophy, creating armor that adapted to damage, weapons scaling power based on target resistance, shields strengthening under fire. "Admiral Chen," came General Morrison's voice from Titan Base. First-wave human crews completed Federation technology integration training. "How do they look, General?" "Ma'am, I've never seen anything like it. These kids take to advanced technology like they were born to it. Draconian weapons instructors call them natural-born killers." Admiral Kethvar's stone-grinding laugh echoed. "High praise from my people. We invented the concept. Human Federation integration produced innovations violating physics laws without caring about violations." "Show them the new fighter class," Admiral Chen ordered. The display showed sleek, predatory craft flickering in and out of existence. "We call them wraiths," Dr. Reyes explained. "Human reaction times and aggression combined with Federation phase shift technology. They fly through solid matter, appear inside enemy formations, phase back for attacks." "Pilots must be insane," Veltara said, analyzing specifications. "G-forces alone should liquefy organics." "Sanity's overrated in warfare," Colonel Harrison replied. "We've got volunteers lined up around the solar system." Ambassador Zicthala studied casualty projections, making disturbing discoveries. "Admiral Chen, these tactical plans assume massive human losses." War isn't a game. People die. Question is whether they die for something worthwhile. But projected casualty rates are acceptable, Chen cut off. We can sustain these loss rates 18 months while maintaining combat effectiveness. How can you be so clinical about your people's deaths? Chen faced her, eyes showing absolute determination. Because the alternative is complete destruction of all galactic sentient life. My people die in combat. They die as heroes saving civilization. They die if we do nothing. They die as cosmic horror victims. Easy choice. Urgent alerts interrupted. Lieutenant Park looked up, face pale. Admiral, emergency transmissions from Outer Rim, Void Swarm accelerated advance. They're not heading for galactic core anymore. Where? Admiral Kethvar demanded. Park's voice barely whispered. Here, sir. Straight for Sol System. Silence fell. Then Admiral Chen smiled terribly. Well then, time to test our toys. The Void Swarm arrived at Sol System's edge like cosmic cancer. They didn't emerge from hyperspace, they simply materialized, reality itself becoming infected. Admiral Chen watched from Dreadnought Defiance as space writhed and twisted. Sensor readings are impossible, Lieutenant Park reported, voice tight with controlled panic. They're not just in normal space, they're in subspace, hyperspace, and at least 3 dimensions we can't name. How many? Admiral Chen asked steadily despite cosmic horror spreading across displays. Impossible to count accurately. They exist in quantum superposition. Best estimate, somewhere between 50,000 and 50 million entities. Ambassador Zichthalas stared at tactical displays in terror. By the eternal void, they're larger than anything we encountered. Some entities are planet-sized. Admiral Kethvar, standing at weapons console in borrowed human armor, bared fangs and warrior's grin. Good. Larger targets are easier to hit. The human fleet deployed in formations that would horrify Federation tacticians. Instead of elegant defensive arrangements, humans created multi-dimensional killing fields, ships positioned in normal space, subspace, and hyperspace, creating interlocking fire coverage from every angle. Enemy movement detected, Tactical Officer reported, Void Swarm advancing on multiple vectors. ETA to outer perimeter, 12 minutes. Admiral Chen activated fleet communications. All ships, this is Defiance Actual. Today we make our stand. Today we show the universe that humanity doesn't go gentle into that good night. All weapons free. Engage at will. First contact came with automated defense platforms scattered throughout Outer System. These weren't just weapons, they were hunter-killer drones with one directive: destroy anything non-human or non-Federation. Void Swarm entities hit the perimeter and for the first time in galactic history encountered resistance that actually hurt them. Quantum cascade disruptors on thousands of platforms, creating intersecting energy patterns, causing visible damage to multidimensional invaders. First blood to humanity, Admiral Chen announced with satisfaction. All units, weapons free. Show these things what humans do to uninvited guests. The battle defied description. Human ships phased in and out of existence, appearing inside swarm formations for devastating point-blank attacks before vanishing. Wraith fighters, piloted by enhanced humans, danced through impossible patterns. But the Void Swarm adapted. Entities shifted dimensional states more rapidly, making targeting difficult. Some emitted energy discharges disrupting human phase shift technology. They're learning, Dr. Reyes reported grimly, adapting to our weapons real-time. Then we adapt faster, Admiral Chen replied, opening channels to engineering sections. All engineering teams, implement Chaos Protocol 7. Chaos Protocol? Ambassador Zichthala looked confused. Colonel Harrison grinned, inputting commands. Human military doctrine. When enemies adapt to tactics, you don't outthink them. You make battles so chaotic that adaptation becomes impossible. What followed demonstrated human warfare at its most terrifying. Ships fired in seemingly random patterns, changing tactics every second, employing strategies appearing suicidal until proving brilliant. Commanders stopped coordinating, instead improvising, turning battle into sprawling melee where anything could happen. The Void Swarm, creatures of cosmic order, faced something never encountered: deliberate, calculated chaos. Swarm advance slowing, Park reported. They're pulling back to regroup. Impossible, Kethvar breathed. They've never retreated. They've never fought humans, Admiral Chen smiled razor-sharp. But celebration was premature. Something new appeared, a swarm entity unlike any before, massive beyond comprehension, causing space-time to buckle. Command entity, Dr. Reyes analyzed frantically, exists in at least 12 dimensions. It's controlling the entire swarm. The massive entity pulsed, and every human heard a voice bypassing ears, speaking directly to minds. Curious. The small meat things resist. Perhaps we will keep some for study before consumption. Admiral Chen just laughed. Did that thing threaten to dissect us? You do not comprehend. We are inevitable. We have consumed galaxies. Chen activated fleet-wide communications, broadcasting on all frequencies. I'll tell you what we are. We're humans. We're the species that looked at a universe trying to kill us back and decided to kill it back. She paused, voice carrying human history's weight. We reload. The final battle for Sol's system raged across multiple dimensions. Human ships, hulls scarred and burning, continued fighting as void swarm entities phased around them. Space near Earth became a maelstrom of energy and forces beyond normal physics. Admiral Chen stood on Defiance's bridge, uniform torn, blood trickling from her nose. Psychic pressure from the command entity was overwhelming, but her eyes burned with determination. "Status report," she shouted over alarms. 60% casualties, Lieutenant Park reported, his workstation sparking. "But we're holding them at Jupiter's orbit. They can't break through to Earth." The human strategy had evolved beyond mere chaos. It was now pure, desperate innovation. Ships were ramming void entities while simultaneously phase-shifting, creating dimensional implosions. Wraith fighters were flying kamikaze runs directly into the command entity's multiple dimensional aspects. "Admiral," Dr. Reyes called from her station, "I've been analyzing the command entity's quantum signature. There's something. It's not just controlling the swarm. It's literally made of consumed civilizations." "What do you mean?" Admiral Chen demanded. "Every species they've devoured, their consciousness, their knowledge, their very existence, it's all trapped inside that thing. It's not just a commander, it's a prison." Admiral Kethvar, now manning a human plasma cannon despite his injuries, roared with understanding. "Then we don't just kill it, we break it open." The revelation changed everything. Working frantically, human engineers began modifying every remaining quantum cascade disruptor to target not the entity's destruction, but its dimensional cohesion. "All ships," Admiral Chen broadcast, "new mission parameters. We're not here to destroy the enemy anymore. We're here to liberate every civilization they've ever consumed." The final assault was beyond description. Every remaining human vessel, from massive dreadnoughts to single-pilot fighters, converged on the command entity. They weren't fighting to win anymore. They were fighting to free the galaxy's dead. The modified weapons fired simultaneously, targeting the quantum bonds holding the entity together. Reality screamed as dimensional barriers collapsed. The command entity's death shriek echoed across multiple dimensions as it began to unravel. From its dissolving form, points of light emerged, the freed consciousness of 1,000,000 dead civilizations. "Impossible! We are eternal!" "Nothing's eternal," Admiral Chen replied grimly. "Everything dies, even gods." As the entity collapsed completely, the remaining void swarm entities suddenly stopped, their coordination severed.
Without the command entity's control, they began consuming each other in mindless hunger. Lieutenant Park looked up in amazement. "Admiral, they're destroying themselves." Space around Sol's system gradually cleared as the swarm devoured itself into extinction. The surviving human vessels, barely a tenth of the original fleet, hung in space like wounded giants. Ambassador Zikthala, tears streaming down her crystalline face, approached Admiral Chen. "You did it. You actually did it. The galaxy is free." Admiral Chen slumped in her command chair, exhaustion finally overtaking adrenaline. "No, Ambassador, we all did it. Every species that ever resisted them, every civilization that fed their knowledge to their prison entity, they all contributed to this victory." She looked at the tactical display showing Earth, still blue and beautiful in the distance. "Besides, this is what humans do. When the universe says impossible, we say, 'Watch me.'" The communication system crackled with incoming transmissions from across the galaxy, freed worlds, celebrating species, and a federation that would never be the same. Humanity had been unleashed. The galaxy would have to learn to live with the consequences. But first, they had some rebuilding to do.